Welcome back to episode 185 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy. What's going on, Troy?
Not a whole lot. Got home from baseball. That's about it. Nothing exciting tonight.
So you messaged to me in passing, I think it was last night or today. You're doing Whole 30?
Oh, yeah. I'm on the Whole 30 kick, so we'll see how that goes. Right now, I'm very angry. I'm hangry. I'm cranky. That is to be expected. But
yeah, when did you start?
Monday.
Okay.
So I'm on day 3. And I needed I've had a lot of chicken and peanuts and bananas, carrots. So eating a lot better, just a little cranky. But I've done this before and it subsided. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, good luck, man. Way to be healthy, and maybe I'll try to get you fired up on the podcast.
It's like stress eat.
All of a sudden, you've got like a loaf of bread that you're just shoving.
See it right here. I won't eat them on screen, but I got my pack of peanuts.
Okay. All right. Gotta keep that blood sugar up, right?
Yeah.
Big show today, so we're going to get right into it. But before we do, just a reminder that the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a Patreon podcast. That means we rely on support from listeners like yourself to help us cover our show expenses, keep Troy on Whole 30, continue to produce more and hopefully better hockey card content, and fund initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey card hobby. It's very easy to support us. It starts for as little as $5 a month. You can join our $199 support level tier via Patreon and be one of the first 199 supporters of our show. Also get access to the Gong Show Discord, where it just keeps getting better and better, Troy. I feel like every day there's more and more momentum. And the coolest part too, not that I don't, but if like we're not able to get in there for a day because we're working on the show, it's kind of its own thing now.
Yeah, it's a self-contained entity, it seems.
Yes. Need more of that because this but if you want to join, we'd be happy to have you on board.
I'm so far behind. I don't know what's going on. We started the show and I just realized I was sharing my screen right away. So that's already that's always confuddled me, and now I think I'm in the right spot.
Yeah, well, we're giving you well, number one, it's a Gong Show, and then we're giving you the Whole 30 pass today. So it's all good, buddy. It's all good.
Awesome.
But if you want to support us, go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page. If you want, just go to the Patreon website direct, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. There's a link in the show description in our podcast or app, Apple, Spotify, etc., and then on YouTube as well. And then in our Instagram and TikTok profile, there's a link there as well. We have one new member since our last show, Larson with 2 S's, Scandinavian, Troy.
Nice.
I love the Scandinavians. Welcome aboard, buddy. And he joined the out of 199 tier.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Larsons. I'm an Iverson. We're son of someone, so good Scandinavian name.
You're a 1S Iverson. So
yeah, I'm a 1S Iverson. It's actually, and it's correctly pronounced Everson, but no one ever does that, so I don't think we ever did it either.
Well, my name was O Madigan.
Nice.
And when they dropped the O, when they
was
coming
like,
to America,
this. We don't have the Irish or get the Irish hate that was going on for a while. All right, we got to do our outline. Start with the almost greatest NHL player to wear number 85. Then it's off to another edition of Hobby Deep Dive Playoff Editions. Next, we take a look at hobby news. Then it's off to new product releases. And then we take a look at some of our favorite hockey cards in this week's PWCC weekly auction. And we end the show with any personal pickups. Now, it's crazy, Josh. This outline seems short. It's not short. This show is massive. I don't know. We got to rein ourselves in or something. But
it's crazy. It's 17 pages single type.
No.
And we had a show 2 days ago. That's how. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. Previously, Josh, we looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. We ran through all the numbers, so now we are looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners up in the Hockey Writers Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article. The almost greatest NHL player to wear number 85 per the nominees in the Hockey Writers Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article, and selected by me, is Matthew Perreault. That's what I'm going with. So
I think you did good.
We called in. He's right here on the screen. We called in our French helper, Sylvain. And Sylvain. I will never get that name right. I'm sorry, Sylvain.
No, it took me 2 years. Like I mispronounced his name. How embarrassing is it when you're friends with someone and you literally can't say their name right anytime you talk to them?
Yeah, so I sent him the name. I'm like, okay, this is how I'm going to say it. And he said, it's fine with Matthew, even though it's probably a little more French enunciation. And then Perrault is the last name. So I figure I got it okay there. All right, Josh, there were no other runners-up at number 85. As a reminder, the greatest to wear number 85 was Peter Klima. All right, our boy, Matthew Perrault, center from Drummondville, Quebec, Canada. Perrault was the 177th overall selection in the 2006 NHL entry draft by the Washington Capitals. Perrault played in 708 regular season NHL games over a 13-season NHL career. Perrault began his career with 4 seasons with the Washington Capitals. He then played 1 season for Anaheim. Then it was 7 seasons with the Winnipeg Jets. And he finished his career with a season with the Montreal Canadiens. For his NHL and awards and accomplishments, Josh, we have nothing. Get nothing, and you like it. But that's okay.
Nothing, you like it.
Still an okay player. NHL regular season stats: 143 goals, 209 assists for 352 points. Perrault made the playoffs in 8 of his 13 NHL seasons, compiling 5 goals, 11 assists for 16 points in 51 NHL playoff games played. Best season of his NHL career from a point standpoint was his 2016-17 season, where Perrault had 13 goals, 32 assists for 45 points in 65 games played with the Winnipeg Jets. Perrault was a versatile forward whose quickness, playmaking skills, and tenacity more than made up for his lack of size. A 5'10", 188-pound center capable of playing on either wing, Perrault was also a skilled face-off man. So not the biggest point producer, but much loved in Winnipeg. Read a lot of comments on him, and everyone really liked him. So it seems he's endured himself to the fans. Josh, after retiring, this isn't what he was doing, but I just love this picture I found of him. After retiring from the
amazing.
NHL. Yeah. Look at that hair. Look at that. So after he retired from the NHL, he joined the TVA Sports broadcasting team.
What's that?
I don't have a clue. It's some. I think
it's gotta be a Canadian.
Yeah,
like
it might be right? French, maybe. I don't know. But he also, I found other things, but I could never find it on their actual site. Remember last week when I talked about, I can't remember, La Bouche or whatever, La Rouge podcast or whatever? He joined that, I guess, for a little bit.
Hey, so like in rom-coms when like the boyfriend and girlfriend break up and then like the boyfriend basically doesn't brush his teeth for 6 months, and then he has like pizza boxes and empty beer bottles laying around his apartment because he's so sad. That's what this picture looks like to me.
No kidding. He reminds me of Parks and Rec. I can't remember. It's Jason. The actor's name is Jason.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah,
he's kind of typecast though because he plays the same character.
And was he Derek in The Good Place? He was like I'm Derek or whatever he says. Yeah, awesome. Okay, fun, interesting fact, guys. We're just going to stare at this picture. He's going to stare into your soul if you're watching on YouTube. Nicknames: Matty P and Frenchie. Makes sense.
Isn't Frenchie? Wasn't a character in the John Travolta, the Grease?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it was. We'll have to ask my wife. She's our expert on Grease in our house. Okay. In his first NHL game, Perrault notched 2 assists. In fact, he had a pretty hot start to his NHL career, scoring 6 points in his first 8 games.
His Young Guns was on fire.
Yeah, Young Guns. This is a kind of random fact that I found in one of his bios. So we'll see what you guys think. But Perrault is one of 3 players drafted after the second round in 2006 to reach 700 or more games. So I found that line, but then I'm like, well, I got to figure out who the other 2 are. So I go to Hockey Reference, start digging through. The other 2 players to play 700 or more games that were drafted after the second round in the 2006 draft are Brad Marchand, who was the 71st pick, and Cal Clutterbuck.
Our boy Cal.
72nd overall pick. Former Minnesota Wild, Cal Clutterbuck.
Nobody hits more than Cal Clutterbuck, Troy.
Yeah, he's
isn't that the thing? He always led the NHL in hits.
Yep, always throwing his body around. Perot scored 4 goals in an 8-2 win over Winnipeg. No, for Winnipeg in an 8-2 win over the Florida Panthers on January 13th, 2015. This made him the first NHL player to score 4 goals in a single game for the Jets/Thrashers franchise since Ilya Kovalchuk in 2005. Thought that was interesting. Perot scored a hat trick in the Montreal Canadiens 6-1 victory over the Detroit Red Wings on October 23rd, 2021. It was the first hat trick for a Quebec native playing for the Canadiens in Montreal since Vincent Damphousse in 1998. He had some really random facts, just random.
Is there a funner name to say than Vincent Damphousse?
Oh yeah, that's a great name to say.
I love it.
So all his stats are random, but I love how he gets his goals in bunches. Scored 4 goals, scored 3 goals. Didn't have that many career goals, but he got a bunch.
If I was an agent and I was Vincent Damphouse's agent, I would, I think, get him have him be a spokesperson, Troy, for Vidal Sassoon.
Is that even some product
Vincent
anymore?
Damphousse? I don't think so. This is why I use Vidal Sassoon.
Yeah, I remember those commercials. All right, rookie card. There it is. 2009 Upper Deck, number 498, Young Guns. Josh, PSA 10 pop is 2. Gem rate, nothing, 0%. However, let's look at BGS. A little better over there. BGS 9.5 pop is 3 with a gem rate 100%. So there you go. I guess send it to BGS if you want this card and gem. I could not find any sales on the slabs. The raw cards go for around $5 or less US. There you go.
All right, Matthew Perot, almost greatest player to wear the number 85. We're going to move on, Troy, to another exciting edition of Hobby Deep Dive. I know it's your favorite part of the week.
Let's do it.
You tell it to me all the time. You can't wait for it. And it's where we're on a quest to learn anything and everything about our favorite hockey players, enhance our hobby experience in an effort to make, hopefully better informed decisions. We've done rookies, we've done vets, we've done sets. Last couple editions have focused on key NHL playoff contributors. Like we always do a few days ago, we put up an Instagram poll with 4 candidates and let you guys vote on who this week's deep dive should be. But before we get into this week's candidates, Troy, here's the NHL vets that we've now done hobby deep dives on. So Pettersson, McKinnon, Cale Makar, Leon Draisaitl, Quinn Hughes, Zach Hyman, Pasta, David Pasternak. Well, I went through the teams. I tried to find 4 good selections, and I put up, like I said, put up the poll the other day. The candidates this week were another Bostonian, Jeremy Swayman. Well, he's not from Boston, but plays for the Bruins. J. Rob Troy from your Dallas Stars, Matthew Tkachuk, and Artemi Panarin. Not real close. Goalies, Troy, getting some hobby love here. Running away with it, Jeremy Swayman with 44% of the votes. So that's pretty cool. That makes this week's hobby deep dive the second consecutive Bruin, of course, and we're going to look at Jeremy Swayman. We did Pasta last week, of course. So Jeremy Swayman's a goalie, Troy. I'm not sure if you knew that. Were you aware? Yeah. You're a mute. You know that?
I wasn't even saying anything anyways, but thank God you told me, because I would have just kept talking and not realized it.
We need to get you like a bright flashing red light. And in your defense, there's you're kind of co-hosting the show. You're trying to do all the photos. You're snarfing down peanuts for whole 30. So there's a lot going on.
I took a sip of water. That's why I paused, and I forgot to
sip of water. Yeah. Well, he plays goalie for your Boston Bruins. Listed at 6'2", 200 pounds. Is that considered average size now for?
Yeah, that's like our average size goalie now.
Hails from Anchorage, Alaska, Troy. He's from America. Kind of cool. Also fairly young as far as goaltenders go, just 25. That's still considered young, right?
Yep.
Okay. Grew up playing hockey in the Anchorage area. Attended Alaska Anchorage college hockey games as a kid, and I think that's where he fell in love for the game. You're still a Seawolves booster, right, Troy? Isn't that a big team that you support there?
I used to have an Alaska Anchorage hat when I was a kid.
You did.
I don't know how I got it, where I got it, or why I got it, but I had one.
And I wondered how you got all the ladies, but now we know your secrets. Rocking the Seawolves hat. That's pretty cool. Well, you wanted to be a goalie right away, start playing tendy at age 5. And knowing a bunch of hockey dads out there, Troy, you'd probably consider that way too late here.
Oh, geez. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of parents probably would, but they're crazy. So don't listen to them. You can start goalie whenever you feel like it. And you should be actively encouraged to play goalie and skater until later, until like 11, 12, 13. You don't need to be goalie at 4 years old.
I thought you were going to be like funny and say you can wait till at least you're 6.
Yeah. It's like that Stamkos, I don't know what is it, Geico commercial where Hedman's holding the baby.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Well, so he played a couple seasons of high school hockey, and then he wanted to start his junior career, intending to play for the Kenai River Brown Bears, Troy. It's a Tier 2 program. Tried out, was cut from the team. Crazy. What do you think they had? Like Jacques Plante ahead of him, or what was going on there? Cut from the team. That's crazy. Well, the Brown Bears' loss was the Pike Peak Miners game, Troy, of the Rocky Mountain Junior Hockey League, where in 18 games in the 2015-16 season, Swayman posted a .94 save percentage, a 1.79 goals against in 18 games played, which was good enough to get him drafted into the USHL by the Sioux Falls Stampede in the 12th round in 2016. So, he wasn't anointed from a very young age. You can already kind of, I think, see the theme that he had to work for every level that he was able to advance to in hockey. Swayman would play just one season in Sioux Falls, posting a 7-18-3 record. No, hang on. 7-18-3 is not real good. But he had a .914 save percentage and just a 2.90 goals against. Not like the world's greatest metrics, but you think a lot better than a 7-18-3 record so the team in front of him must have been terrible.
Yeah, they must have not been the greatest.
When apparently scouts didn't hold it against him because after that season, the NHL Central Scouting Bureau named him the number 12 prospect amongst all North American goaltenders coming into the 2017 draft. When looking at scouting reports, here's some of the highlights that they had for Swayman. Athleticism, praised for his exceptional athleticism, quick reflexes, ability to make acrobatic saves stood out, making him a promising prospect for teams looking for a dynamic goaltender. Size and technique, he's 6'2", as we said, that kind of the size that scouts are looking for.
Now they'd be like, he's a small goalie at 6'2".
His technique was also commended, particularly the ability to use his frame effectively to cover the net. What does that mean? Yeah, you kind of like what you were saying the other day, just efficient.
Oh yeah, just in the right position, good depth, good angles. Yeah, just able to take away net wear with his positioning and his body.
Mental toughness and poise. Scouts noted his calm demeanor and poise under pressure, which is crucial for a goaltender at higher levels of competition. His ability to stay focused throughout the game and during high-pressure situations was seen as a major plus. And then development potential. He was considered kind of a bit of a raw talent compared to some of the other goaltending prospects in the draft. But I think scouts were intrigued by his upside. And he was intending to play college, and so they figured that he would continue to get better there too. So he was taken by Boston in the 2017 NHL entry draft in the 4th round with the 111th pick. Prior to the draft, though, I mentioned he committed to play college at the University of Maine, Troy, for the Black Bears. So at this point in my research, I'm like, this guy like have a thing for bears or something like that? So he tried out for the Kenai River Brown Bears.
Yeah.
Played college for the Black Bears, and now plays for the Bruins, which are Bears.
He's got a thing for bears, and look at that! Look at that! We're gonna zoom in, Josh. I just saw this. Look at the knob on that stick. That's a big knob right there.
A fat knob, man. That's a roll of tape.
It is. It's literally a whole roll of tape. It looks like.
Well, Swayman would go on to play 3 seasons at the University of Maine, University of Maine, culminating, Troy, in the 2019-20 college season where he went 18-11-5 with a 2.07 goals against and a .939 save percentage. Then as the hockey world came to a stop in the spring of 2020, Swayman officially signed his NHL entry-level contract on March 18th. That was the COVID year, of course. He started next season, which would have been 2020-21, with the Providence Bruins in the AHL. He won his first 7 games played, and then in 9 games went 8-1 with a .933 save percentage and a 1.89 goals against average in his first 9 games played. So now we're gonna get to like the story where he basically starts to get called up to the Bruins, and I never really took the time, and we don't follow the team every day like someone living in Boston would, or if there was goalie drama here in the Wild, and just kind of how he got called up and how it's kind of everything is shaken out in the last couple of years. So I'll go through that right now. In April 2021, the Bruins got into a little bit of a goalie pickle when their starting goalie Tuukka Rask got hurt, and then backup Yaroslav, is it Halak?
I think it's Halak, yeah.
Tested positive for COVID. And so they called up Swayman, and he made his NHL debut on April 6, 2021, which was a 4-2 win over the Flyers, in which he made 40 saves. That's not bad for your first game. He played so well as a replacement that season that then coach Bruce Cassidy chose Swayman to be Rask's backup during the 2021 Stanley Cup playoffs over Halak. Then coming into the next year in 2021-22, Rask had major surgery to repair a torn labrum, and Halak had left, I think, at free agency or something like that to sign with Vancouver. So one kind of little tangent here about Tuukka Rask is how bad is a torn labrum for a goalie? Is that a tough one?
I don't know. What is a labrum?
Isn't that like your shoulder area?
Yeah. I'm going to have to look it up now. I don't have any clue. Yep, it's your shoulder. Yeah, that would stink. That would be bad. Any shoulder injury. To be honest, any injury is pretty bad for a goalie. They use every part of their body when they make saves.
So with Rask on the mend for major surgery and Halak gone to Vancouver, the Bruins brought in veteran goaltender Linus Ullmark to team up with Swayman, and they became the tandem for the 2021-22 season. Ullmark, because he was a veteran, was ahead of him. Where Swayman in the pecking order, Swayman was the backup. So at that, then basically Rask recovers enough to come back, and that sends Swayman back to Providence. And at the time, Swayman was 8-6-2 at a .918 save percentage, 2.6 goals against in the NHL. So I mean, that's not, and that was January 11th, 2022. That's not terrible for a rookie goalie. 2.26 goals against. But then, as most people are familiar with the Tuukka Rask story, Rask quickly had a pretty big setback, and then by February, so within a month, he had basically announced his retirement. So that brought Swayman back to the Bruins, and was like on fire from the minute he got back. He went 5-1-1, .960 save percentage, 1.13 goals against with 2 shutouts, and then was named for that February of 2022 the NHL's Rookie of the Month. Basically, since then, Troy, him and Ullmark have been sharing the net for the Bruins. Last year, the tandem posted historic numbers. Ullmark was an amazing 40 wins, 6 losses, 1 overtime time loss with a .938 save percentage, 1.89 goals against, winning him the Vezina Trophy. But Swayman wasn't too shabby either, finishing with a record of 24-6-4 with a .920 save percentage and a 2.27 goals against. And then the tandem became known for doing their now famous goalie hug.
Big goalie hug.
Yeah, pretty cool. Well, given that Boston has some needs in the skating side after losing Krejci and Patrice Bergeron, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to determine that having 2 pretty good goalies like Ullmark and Swayman is probably a luxury that they could do without.
Yeah.
And it's really starting this season, it became obvious that Boston was trying to move Ullmark. He's older, of course, and Swayman's just 25, so it kind of makes sense that they would want to stick with him. We've talked about it before. There was rumors that a deal was in place around the trade deadline that Ullmark wouldn't waive his no movement clause, and so kept him on the team throughout the remainder of the season. Swayman had a good year this season in the regular part of the schedule. He went 25 10-8, 2.53 goals against, 0.913 save percentage. And I think too, Troy, like what really stood out to me looking at his entire body of work, and I've said this before, but I really recommend for any player just Googling like Jeremy Swayman stats or really any player in stats and go to their NHL.com stats profile where you can look at what they've done not in just the NHL alone or in their entire hockey career. And the thing that really stood out to me just off the data was he seems like he's very consistent. And as we've talked about for a year now, that's like the one big thing that's lacking in NHL goaltending right now. We'll have these guys they'll be standing on their head for a month and then they'll be a complete sieve the next month. And it's just like it's this big roller coaster that they ride. But I reached out to, because we don't watch every Bruins game, of course, to our friend Bobby from 86 Collectibles, who's a Bruins diehard, lives in the Boston area. And I kind of asked him that. I'm like, I said, it looks like by the data that Swayman seems to be really consistent. Is that what you see on a game-to-game basis? And he said that's 100%. And that they really appreciate his calm demeanor and that he's kind of become a fan favorite. And so again, though, they kind of rode the 1A, 1B sort of goalie situation throughout the year. But now in the playoffs, Troy, Swayman's 5-2-0 with the 1.42 goals against, 0.955 save percentage. Allmark has played one game, I believe. And it looks like the Bruins are just going to ride the hot goalie and leave Allmark on the bench till he falters. So we'll see how that shakes out this summer. But I would assume that Allmark is, you just won the Vezina Trophy last year. You're not going to want to be a backup goalie at this point.
Gosh, I got an update for you. He's letting 3 goals already against Florida.
Oh no! Well, yeah.
I think. Well, let me make sure he's in net. Hold on.
I think
that'd be terrible if I'm like, hey, he's. And I should say the team let in 3 goals, not Swayman. Yeah, he's in net.
Okay. You also got to think he will be a candidate at least for the U.S. Olympic team, wouldn't you?
I don't know what's going on with that U.S. Olympic team. Because you have for the U.S.
Hellebuck,
that Demko's an American, Swayman's American. I'm sure I'm missing some, but those are 3 top guys. So I hope all 3 of them are on the roster. But
isn't the Calgary kid an American too? The Dustin Wolf. He's from
Dustin Wolf's American. Yeah.
All right. Did I miss anything on the background of Jeremy Swayman?
That's pretty good. That sounds like his MO, man. Consistency, fighting for his spot, coming from was it Alaska? I can't remember if it was Anchorage.
Yeah. Yep. Anchorage.
That's he's a very, very good goalie. Very good goalie. And we've seen it in his card values also.
Yeah, let's dig into that real quick. He's a 2021-22 Young Guns, PSA 10 pop 801, 33% gem rate, last sold for $111 US on May 7th. It's up 42% in the past 2 weeks, Troy. Holy moly. Yep. And 46% in the past 3 months. So we haven't had a lot of hobby runs this year. And we're kind of in now, as you just said, that might come to a crash.
It might come crash into a halt here pretty soon. But
yeah, what was your favorite Jeremy Swayman hobby run? But it is one. And so I love when guys' cards just pop off like this.
Yeah.
I think it's so much fun. Last thing we'll look at hobby-wise are the top 5 unique selling Jeremy Swayman cards. We say unique because, and if you did just a true top 5, I think 3 or 4 of the 5 would be Young Guns High Gloss, and that's so fun. So we just do the top sale for each of the unique cards. And then to further make this squishier, 5 and 4 were technically tied. So it's like, but you understand.
Yeah. So
coming in tied for number 4 is a 2021-22 Exquisite Rookies auto patch out of 25 raw that sold for $1,500 US last month. That's a beautiful card, isn't it?
Beautiful card. We're gonna have to talk to him about that autograph, though. Ooh.
Yeah, it's not great. And then the other one tied to number 4 is a 2021-22 Allure Rookie Auto Golden Treasures 101 raw. Sold for $1,500 US August 2023. It's funny, you compare the $1,500. I get this is a 101, but I would take the Exquisite 100 times out of 100 over the sticker auto on the Golden Treasures.
Agree.
Number 3 top sale is a 2021-22 Black Diamond Rookie Diamond Relic Emerald out of 10 raw, sold for $1,547 in August of 2022.
Okay.
I think the more time goes on, the less I like these.
I would much rather have one of these two over that one.
Yeah. Well, I think this next one you're really gonna like. Number 2,
my God, 2021. This is awesome.
22 UD Stature Rookie Patch Auto, 1 of 1 raw, sold for $2,700 this past September.
Glad to see a Stature card up at the top. I mean, I know the high glosses, if you used all them, would be the top 5 probably, or 4.
Yeah,
but love that Stature card's in here.
And then the number 1 is a 2021-22 Young Guns High Gloss out of 10 raw, sold for $3,000 even US on eBay in March of 2022. As far as high gloss cards go, it just like the kind of, there's almost like a color match.
There is, yeah. There's like,
this is a very, very nice Young Guns rookie card.
This is, one of the better ones I've seen, and it is like a color match. Really cool.
Well, that's our Jeremy Swayman Hobby Deep Dive. Did we learn anything, Troy? What did we learn?
Learned lots of stuff. We learned about anchorage. We learned about what sort of
your Seawolves hat that got you all the ladies.
Seawolves hat that I had. We learned about consistency. We learned about not giving up, even though your team in front of you stinks. If you're still good, put in the work, chance you can play in the NHL. No, I mean, Swayman is really growing on me a lot, and now I'm kind of mad. I used to have his Young Guns. I remember I sold it right away when I pulled it because he was hot for like when his Young Guns came out, if I remember.
Yeah, right. When this came out,
I think it was anywhere from 70 to 100. I can't remember. Just raw.
It's nice to see a goalie getting some hobby love too. But yeah, he does look like we talked about last show. If you're gonna bank on a young goalie, he seems like a pretty good bet. All right, we're gonna move on. Got to make a mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor Slab Sharks. Very grateful to them for their support of our show. Reminder, the current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction ends tonight. So be sure to log on to slabsharks.com, check out all the amazing hockey cards in the auction, including, Troy, this like crazy 2022 Jake Ottinger Gold PMG that some loser podcast is selling. So, maybe
I don't know. This Vesna might be a little more, but holy cow,
what's that up to now? What's the bid on
15,000 Canadian.
Ooh. What's that, like 12 grand US or something like that? 11 grand?
11 to 12, yeah.
And if you did miss this week's auction, boo, but no big deal. As soon as one ends, the next begins, and they have absolute bangers in their auctions every week.
Do you want to pump this up or what? You want to pump it? Yeah. Here you go. Pump away. 260 Canadian. Have at it.
How do you pump? He was so good they lost game 1. Am I doing good, Troy? Am I doing good?
And it's a 1-1, so there's not much else you could really say about it.
There's lots of cards I really want to get. So So I hope the perfect person finds it and spends all their money.
Yeah.
Well, Troy, last night it was weird. You texted me and you were wanting to know why Slab Sharks has gotten so darn popular, and I thought I would share my response to your text message. So I'm going to pick up my phone and read it to you. Okay. Here we go.
Okay, let's hear it.
Troy, why are you asking me this at 3:47 in the morning? Well, now that I'm up, I think it's because they make it super easy for Canadian hockey card collectors to sell their cards online because they literally do all the work. They take amazing photos, list your cards, answer buyer questions, hunt down payments, ship to Canada and the US, and handle any post-sale issues. Plus, they get tons of eyeballs on their auctions each week, exposing your cards to a large and growing buying pool. And lastly, they're developing amazing tools like the new portal, which gives you insights and data you can't get anywhere else for the cards you're selling. No, I have to go to bed. Don't make me block you.
Awesome. Glad you responded, though. I needed an answer.
I was worried that you were like having a Whole Foods Whole 30 emergency or something. Now, do you have to like shop at Whole Foods, like as we call Whole Paycheck, when you're in Whole 32?
No, you just have to. Nothing with like no processed foods. So it basically breads out. That's the tough one.
Yeah. Well, you and everyone else, Troy, should head to slabsharks.com for complete consignment information and to get the consignment process started today for the cards that you're looking to move. Hobby news!
I'm excited for this hobby news. Hobby news. I forgot that part.
Yeah, we got one kind of juicy story, but really quickly, we're committed to the bit, and we got to do a very quick and speedy update on the road to infinity. Last episode, Trey, we had another big jump on our quest to track the rise of the Bedard Young Guns PSA 10. Can we get to 3,000 PSA 10s by the end of month 3? It's the biggest question in the hobby. No, it's not. Nobody cares, but we do. And that's what we're hoping to see. So I was at the supermarket the other day, Troy, and a sweet little old lady stopped me and said, "Aren't you the sidekick on that hockey card show that Troy does?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Then she wanted to know right then and there if it's going to get to 3,000. She also wanted your phone number, Troy. So nice. I hope you don't mind I gave it to her. But we checked the reports and tabulated the numbers and can report today, Troy, that the PSA 10 pop count for the Connor Bedard base Young Guns has now climbed to only 2,227. That's a gain of 30 since our last show on Monday. So yeah, I don't know if this is a blip in the radar or what's going on here, but one of the smaller increments of growth that we've had. All right, we're going to move on to the juicy story, though.
There we are.
So, you like my image?
I like that.
It's pretty simple, but it took me a long time to get it right. There was many versions of this. Yeah, I just love to prove on this show I'm a total loser, and I have I spend way too much time doing stupid things.
Yeah, if you're listening only on a podcast app or something, it's Pac-Man with a Fanatics logo on him, chomping towards the Premier League lion logo.
Yeah. So starting in June 2025, Troy, Fanatics will be the exclusive supplier of trading cards and stickers for the English Premier League after signing a multi-year agreement. It's yet another case of Fanatics asserting their will and locking up key sports cards licenses. What about tipped me out of my chair, though, when I saw the news, Troy, is that stickers are also included in this deal. And Panini, as everyone knows, was built on stickers. And I think many have assumed that even if they lost every sports cards license, that they would just go back to being the Panini of old and sticker company. Well, that's probably not, doesn't look like that's the case, at least with the Premier League. Now, you know the whole football game better than I do. I'm not a big soccer guy. I have what I would call like a loose grasp of the whole situation. And I do know that there's like 1 million leagues. So Panini could still probably produce cards for those or stickers for them too. But isn't the Premier League kind of like the big one?
To me, it is. And again, like when you say I know more than you, I know about 2% more than you. But yeah, I think English Premier League is the really big one. But then there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I can't remember all the different leagues, but La Liga, what was it, like League One? Is that
Bundesliga?
Bundesliga, Serie A, MLS. We know MLS is a joke to everyone in the world except like Americans that love soccer that can see it. Because it's so funny. Like MLS, we bring Messi over, right, to Miami. Dude literally dominates every game. And I don't know how old Messi is, but he ain't a spring
like
chicken
36
anymore.
or 38, something like that.
Yeah, he ain't a spring chicken. Oh, yes, 36. Comes over, just dominates. Like MLS is where a lot of European players come after their prime to make a lot of money.
This has to be like a big blow, right, to Panini, wouldn't you think?
Well,
I mean, this starts to like hit where it hurts, I would think.
Well, yeah, I was looking at Panini's website, and for the officially licensed, they actually have it on there, all their licenses. NFL going to be gone, NBA going to be gone, NFLPA going to be gone, NBA Players Association going to be gone, WWE I think is going to Fanatics at some point.
100%.
WNBA they show. I'm not sure where WNBA is at. If they're still Panini. NASCAR I think still with Panini. FIFA, and then all the soccer stuff. So it's slim pickings. They have Live Golf too, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty interesting what's going to go on with Panini because they're going to lose 1, 2, 3, at least 4, 5, 6 of those huge licenses in the next couple of years, 3 years.
It just feels like they're trying to put them out of business, doesn't it?
Or it does.
Like keep chopping legs off the stool to give Panini no choice but to sell them their brand for pennies on the dollar. And I wonder, like, now with hindsight being 2020, but what was it, like a year and a half ago, where everyone thought that there was going to be an acquisition, and some people thought that there was an agreement in place.
Yeah, it was like literally reported that there's an agreement. It's going to come out here in the next day or two, and nothing.
I can't imagine Panini doesn't regret not doing that deal. There's no way the company's worth more now.
No, it's going to be pretty sad, but part of it's their fault too. Everything you hear about them, they seem like they're not very well run. And look out their redemptions and how they tried to like literally get out of fulfilling redemptions because they said it wasn't a legal contract. They're just, I don't know if it's because Panini's corporate is that in Italy, I think it's
an Italian company.
Yeah.
Panini America in Texas, I believe.
Yeah. So I think they've kind of shot themselves in the foot too with this.
Well, let's tie this back to hockey for a minute.
Yeah.
When I've heard speculation about what would Fanatics be interested in Upper Deck, I feel like a lot of voices out there have continued to say that, or have opinions. I don't know if it's opinions or stuff that people have actually heard, but that Fanatics has no desire for hockey. And the more and more that they start gobbling up like the Premier League, I'm finding that harder to believe, Troy. So Fanatics is going to be the official jersey supplier next year of the NHL.
Yeah.
We know that they've been trying to sign NHL athletes to exclusive auto deals. If they're interested in Premier League, how would they not be interested in the hockey license? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I have no clue, but I've got to believe they've made overtures or conversations. But right now, it's Upper Deck in the NHL, and they've been around, or they've been partners forever. Now, again, money will always talk in the end, but maybe the bond's strong enough that Fanatics hasn't offered enough, or they're not willing to do anything right now yet. Because some of these, they've made announcements like, we're buying the licenses 4 years and then we'll have it. I can't remember when the exact Upper Deck NHL license expires or contract expires, but we haven't heard anything. But I got to believe Fanatics seems like they're trying to take over everyone in this space. So I got to believe they've looked, they've maybe not had discussions, maybe had discussions. I don't know, but holy cow.
When it's, we don't talk about it a lot because we're in the hockey hobby.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a nightmare scenario right now happening in basketball where you have Wembanyama, who is a Connor Bedard-esque type rookie, where Panini still holds the licenses. So any Bedard or Wembanyama rookie cards in a San Antonio Spurs jersey with the branding is still with Panini. Fanatics went and signed him to an exclusive auto deal.
So no autos in Panini products.
There's no autos. So you have this once in a lifetime prospect.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine like Bedard with no autos, no future watch, no cup RPAs. And now at the Topps kind of industry summit thing last week, one of the announcements that was made is that they're immediately going to start producing like Topps Chrome and Bauman and stuff like that basketball cards, but they're going to be unlicensed. So now you're going to have like this situation where you're going to have rookie autos that are unlicensed versus licensed non-auto, like just numbered rookies.
I mean, I hate it. I don't like it, but I get it. It's a business. This is what you can do in these businesses. Mm-hmm. However, if there's anyone to blame, it's probably the leagues and the players associations for allowing all this stuff. If you're
100%, that's where I was going to go with it. Is that if that damages, I think, the league too.
Yeah,
and they have to prevent that because you can't prevent business is competitive, as you're right.
Yep.
And it seems like there's a little bit of bad blood between Panini and Fanatics.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, they was something seems like really went sideways with them, with those two in their relationship.
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun to have been like a fly on the wall in those negotiation rooms? So I would hope, like, if it ever comes to a head, like between Fanatics and Upper Deck, that the NHL or NHLPA would prevent something like that from happening. But I mean, do you agree with me that to assume that Fanatics doesn't have interest in the hockey license is?
I don't think there's anything. If they think they can make money on it, they're going to go after it. Fanatics is just a machine. So if they can make a profit, they're going to do it.
Yeah. 5 years from now, do you still think Upper Deck has a hockey license?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. But there could be an interesting kind of dogfight for it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on, Troy. Believe it or not, the NHL draft lottery occurred a couple days ago, Tuesday night. Now, if anyone's been looking for a way to gauge sort of compare the level of hype between compare and contrast between last year and this year, this was like a great sample or to case study, I guess, in doing that and comparing what this next rookie class is going to be like to Bedardapalooza. It's pretty evident that the hype will be a lot less, Troy. We kind of knew that going in, but a big clue to me was the timing of it. I knew the draft lottery was on Tuesday. Well, even from our show's perspective, we did a huge live show.
I was just saying, I knew it was a big that we didn't do a live show on the draft lottery.
Yeah, and it just seemed like that people wouldn't care as much this year, so we didn't do that. But then the other thing that really surprised me was because last year was like prime time. We were like, it was like 8:30 at night, and we're kind of what do we have, like Jeremy Lee with us? Was he doing that as well, or
no, was it
or was it George? Well, one of the two, but I mean, it was
maybe George.
It was a fun show, regardless. But then, so I'm kind of geared up, and I'm thinking, well, I'll probably turn it on tonight, and then we get a message in one of our text groups that at like 5:30 our time that it was over. I'm like, it's over. I haven't had dinner yet. What's happening here? And I guess ESPN didn't want to put it on prime time. So, they probably had basketball games or NHL playoff games to show that night. And so they put it basically in the afternoon, essentially, especially on the West Coast. Holy cow. Yeah. Well, the results are in Troy, and it went exactly as prescribed. So it followed basically the odds to the letter. No team jumped or above or beyond another team, which I think is kind of boring. I don't like when it works out that way. I was hoping for a Minnesota Wild, Troy, to Well, how does that work though? They couldn't have gone.
Yeah, there's some rule where they can't go up so many spots, 6 spots. I mean, I knew it like a T last year when we were doing the live show. Now I can't remember it. But I think the funny thing, and I don't know if you get into this, but when was it John Buccigross like tweeted out a picture of the draft board way early and then deleted it. So everyone's like, oh my, it's already set. It's already set. And I think it started out following that picture, but then it kind of switched at a couple spots. But someone said, no, they were probably just testing the graphics and how it worked and everything. But
it went chalked. So even if you use the pre-draft lottery order, it didn't change.
Yeah.
So I'm going to run through.
Yeah, I think it was different, I think, at the end.
Oh. I'm going to run through all 16 lottery teams in order real quick, just so we have an understanding as we get into the discussion. The San Jose Sharks had the best odds. They got the number 1 pick, followed by the Blackhawks, the Ducks, number 4, Columbus, number 5, Canadiens, number 6, we call them like the Utah Utonians or something like that.
I just think we call them the Utah Yetis. That has to be their name. And so I'm just going to will it into existence.
Number 7's the Senators. At 8, we got the Kraken. 9, Flames. 10, Devils. 11, Sabres. 12, Flyers. 13, Troy, Minnesota Wild. Should we just get into it right now? Find whatever Russian player they're going to take that won't come to North America for 12 years, because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
It's so depressing for us every draft. It's like, oh, we got Igor Nanovich, and he's in a 48-year contract.
And then he's got his military service afterwards.
Yeah. Then they threw his mom in the gulag.
Yeah.
And then at 14, we got the Sharks, who pick again in a draft compensation from Pittsburgh. 15, Red Wings. 16, Blues. So here's what I'm going to contend, and we're going to kind of layer in prospects in a second, that the way this shook out, Troy, is going to have a pretty big effect on the 2024-25 hockey products. Particularly all of them, but then, the Young Guns Series 1, Series 2. So as we layer the top prospects into the discussion, and we're going to presume your guy, Troy Macklin Celebrini from Boston College. Right?
You're going to get us canceled.
I know. It's Boston University.
People are going to come after us.
Boston University. We know that. So assuming the Sharks take Celebrini number 1, I'm going to say he stays in Boston next season. And especially if Will Smith, who was last year's number 4 overall pick by the Sharks, decides again not to sign his entry-level contract and stay at Boston College next season too. I kind of feel like that they're going to probably coordinate with each other and be a package deal at this point. When you look at the situation, there's zero indication that the Sharks are going to be good next year. Celebrini, Troy, is already the youngest player in college hockey. And why would you go to the NHL and suffer through what's likely going to be a pretty tough and losing season? So if you're advising Celebrini, if you're his dad, and what would you do, Troy? What would your advice be? Would you want him to stay at Boston College, Boston University? Sorry, that was a Freudian slip. I didn't plan that one. Or just rip the Band-Aid and go straight to the NHL.
No, I'd probably have him stay. I think the Sharks would be smart to have him stay too. It's kind of funny. I could have asked a San Jose Sharks scouting department, because when I was in a meeting once with my goalies at Tonka, there was a knock on the door, and boys head coach wanted to know if they could use the room that we were in, because the San Jose Sharks scouts were there to talk to a couple of their players, and they were both standing right there. They're like, I think it was one of their head scouts and then probably the region scout, but no, I didn't ask. I should have. But yes, I think it'd be good for him to stay at the NCAA level, get another year of development, especially with how young he is.
Yeah. And this is where how it shook out really is going to impact the hobby products next year, because let's say, and all you tinfoil hatters are probably shocked that Chicago didn't get the number 1 pick. Had Chicago at the number 1 pick and taken Celebrini, which they would have, I'm thinking 100% he goes straight to the NHL.
Yeah.
And then he's a Series 2 Young Guns next year.
Yeah.
That's kind of a seismic shift. But even beyond Celebrini, Troy, so I went to the NHL.com and found the most current prospect rankings for this upcoming draft. And so you have Celebrini, of course, number 1. Number 2 is in Ivan Demidov, who's a right winger from Russia. Number 3 is Artyom Leshinov, who's a big D man, like 6, big guy at Michigan State. So he played college. Then you have Zeev Buyum, who's another D man from the national championship Denver Pioneers. And then the 5th prospect is Anton Silyev, who's a center currently in the KHL. By the way, this guy is KHL center guy, Troy. 6'7".
Monster. Getting the Zdeno Chara range.
Yeah, no kidding. But Chara's a defenseman.
Yeah.
So let's do a quick recap of the top 5 prospects. You have a Canadian phenom in Celebrini, who's probably most likely going to stay in college. You have 2 defensemen who are always hobby problematic, and a couple of Russians who we never know what decade they're going to start their careers. So there's like a real potential, right? Where we had last year's top 5 picks, but all but Will Smith started right in the NHL, I think, or something like that. So there's a potential that none of the top picks will be in the 2024-25 products. Now, there's a couple other names that either are pretty familiar that are draft eligible, like Cole Eiserman or Tidge Aginla, Jerome Aginla's son. You hear about, but I don't think I didn't do a ton of research, but it doesn't seem like that they're great candidates maybe to jump to the NHL either. So now we have the situation, Troy, like when you're trying to think of like, well, who's going to be Young Guns chases next year? Of course, they have the holdover rookies. They have the Cutter Gauthiers and all the guys that the Michigan defensemen, and there's a couple others, right? But where those guys, so let's say you had like 4 or 5 really big names coming in through the draft, like this year, where you're just going to put them in Series 2 and extended, and you load up Series 1 with all the holdover rookies. Now Upper Deck might be spreading those out a little bit, worried that there's not going to be big enough names for Series 2 or extended. And then we hoping on that there's guys from previous drafts that are going to make the team out of camp, or maybe a couple of guys who aren't super high on the prospect list that we're going to be banking on to have hot starts that could get into Series 2 or extended. you look at like the 2023-24 products beyond Bedard, they felt like a slam dunk because you got Bedard, Fantilli, Carlson, Cooley, and Luke Hughes. I don't know who other than Cutter Gauthier and like the Hudson kid, right? I don't know. So I don't know. Let's just hope hobby boxes are not $300 next year.
Oh, I think they might be. Can they get under 100 if you had the Series 2 with just no one in it? Or maybe they hold Gauthier or something, or one of the bigger guys. They got to hold someone, right?
And maybe hopefully there'll be a couple guys that surprise us. But I don't know. When you listen to all this, are you thinking along the same lines that I am?
Yeah, I mean, you did a lot more research than I did, but just listen to those names and what's coming up, and kind of on the same page as you. All
right, we're gonna move on to new product releases. 2023-24 Trilogy is the next hockey release coming out May 15th.
Strap in, folks.
It's so confusing. But it is a Bedardapalooza, so we got to do our homework, Troy, and do our diligence. Because more Bedard rookies is what the hobby needs. There can never be enough. I checked into that. It's true. I also checked TCDB.
Yep.
How many unique 2023-24 Bedard cards, rookie cards, have already been produced and released at this point, do you think?
NHL or what?
Yeah, NHL. No, it would include Team Canada because it's just any from a 2023-24 set.
Oh, just 23-24. Oh boy. I'm trying to think. I'll go with a random 395. How about that?
I think you're a little heavy there. It's 284.
284. I was over by 100. I was giving them a lot more credit for producing cards, but yeah.
There's a lot of sets to come.
Still a lot.
All right, well, let's dig into the Trilogy checklist and card designs a bit. I'm just gonna warn you. I might my head might explode and I might pass out of frustration halfway through, because these sets are getting more and more complicated. Like nothing is straightforward. It's such a challenge to figure out how to explain it to people, and it's like should hockey cards be this complicated? I don't know. And my theory is, I don't even think it's much of a theory. It's probably just the obvious fact is to produce more and more content, more cards, so they can sell more boxes while not having rookie checklists or veteran checklists of 200, 300 names where nobody knows half of them. You just start to produce like 9,000 parallels.
Yep.
And okay. Well, here's my sincerest attempt to try to explain the Trilogy checklist. There's 250 total cards in the base set, 100 veterans, and then there's 150 rookies. And at first you're like, whoa, 150 rookies? That's insane. There's no way. I don't even think there are 150 rookies. So I'm like, but it's not really that though. Well, okay, I'm gonna go through the base first. So there's 4 parallels of the base set, but the 100 vets are broken down into 3 categories. So you have red, which are like the more like bottom 6 guys, probably cards 1 through 34. Their base is or their red parallels 249. They have a blue 99, green 49, purple 101. Then the next third in the 100 vets, their red parallels 99, blue is 49, green is 25. And then the last 32, which would probably be like your McDavid's, Ovechkins, Crosby's, Matthews, their red parallels out of 49, 25, and 10.
So you can have a red parallel with a different serial number depending on what the card number is.
Yeah, and the players are grouped into thirds based on how popular they are and how big of chases.
Yeah, so I can't say I have a Austin Matthews red. I guess I know Austin Matthews if I knew his card number, but that's confusing. I don't like that. Do you like that?
It gets so much worse too. So this is just that we're just starting to confuse everyone and ourselves. There's also jersey versions of the base set veterans that are 1 in 25 pack odds. There's patches patch autos. That depends on the player.
Got a picture of that.
I think, yeah, we got a picture.
There you go.
Most of the autos are sticker autos in this, just so you know, but I think there are some hard signed.
Okay.
But mostly sticker. Patches or patch autos are out of 15, 10, or 5. And it depends on like how big the chase is, right? So the bigger the chase, the lower the serial number is going to be, or print run. And it's like, you look at this and it's like, I am starting to get thoroughly impressed that Upper Deck has found 400,000 ways to do base set. Like I could probably think of like 2.
Yeah.
But every set that comes out, it's like they found another. They're like brilliant at finding ways to come up with a base set configuration that no other set has. Is that a good thing? Is that it? Probably is, but it also makes it confusing. So I don't know. Okay, now I get to the rookies, where I said there's 150 rookie cards.
Yep.
And I was like apoplectic at first.
That's a big word. Holy cow.
Yeah. Thank you. But here's the thing. There are 150 rookies on the checklist, but they're broken down into 3 different subsets. Common, which is bases out of 999, uncommon 699, and then rare, which base starts at 299. So it's 350 set or subsets of rookies.
Yep.
But all 50 are the same. So it's like 1 through 50 has a common out of 999. The same 1 through 50 has an uncommon out of 699. And then the rares are out of 299. And you might be thinking, it's like, well, aren't the uncommons and rares just parallel? No, because each of these 3 categories has like 5 parallels. So
that can have the same name.
They're 50 of the exact same name.
Oh boy.
So there's a Bedard common out of 999 base, and then there's a red out of 199, a blue out of 99, a green out of 49, and a purple 101, and then a jersey out of 499. Then there's a Bedard uncommon out of 699, and there's the same red parallel, but this one's only out of 99.
This is like the stature with the photo variants and design variant and the photo and design variant. Yeah.
But it's a whole new level, right? And so here's like the uncommon blue. We're looking at Matty Nyes, Golden Gopher, Roll the Boat, Skyuma. And green, then there's a green out of 25, purple autographs. I do like the base card design, though.
Yeah, looks good. Yeah, I like that.
But then you got a Bedard rare base out of 299, a red out of 49, blue out of 25, green out of 5, purple 101. So there are 3 purple 101 Bedards of the same card. I think the only difference is, you see how it's like level 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? So it's common, uncommon, and rare on the checklist, but on the card, it's level 1, 2, and 3.
Oh boy. I feel like I'm going to have to start learning about factorials again and getting my combinations out, and how many combinations can I do and have. Holy cow.
Listen, to do a checklist, a hockey checklist review on a dopey podcast called The Gong Show, where you can't even say a French person's name, when you have to go put brand new batteries in the TI-85 calculator that you haven't used since you were in 12th grade and you're in your 40s now, that is sad.
Yeah.
That is just sad. Right. So when you add this all up, Troy, for rookies, there's basically 15 unique base cards and parallels for every single rookie.
Okay.
Now, there is only 50 rookies, I guess, unique rookies on the checklist, even though they're on the checklist 3 times, whatever that means. And so I suppose it's better than having like 100 rookies on the checklist,
which you hate.
But if you go and you look at like Bedard, right, and you just count how many like of the base set design cards he's going to have, he says uncommon out of 1,000. Then there's red. So if you just look at common, right, it's like with the 1,000 base and with parallels 1,200, 1,300, 1,350, jersey 1,850. Then you have uncommon base and 700. That's 2,550. Reds 2,650, 2,700. 27, 25. Then you got another 300, 3,000. You got like 3,100 total serial numbered cards.
Wow.
Just for Connor Bedard and for every rookie, right? It's the same. Then when you look at auto sets, I already mentioned a fair amount of the auto set stickers. There's some inserts that might be hard signed. We got some pictures of those that we can show in a little bit. There's also a base gold autos, so there's more versions of base too. The 100 base vets have pack odds of 1 in 48, but then you're gonna have better players that are like McDavid that are either short print or super short print. And then you have the same 3-level breakdown of common, uncommon, and rare for the 50 rookie gold autos. So common is, and then they're not even out of the same.
They change. The numbering changes. I love it.
I don't know if I want to like go to sleep or cry at this point.
Are you ready to stop? You're just like, I give up on this checklist review.
And I had to sort all this out, right? I mean, it was just like a big mess of data. Yeah, so they all have different serial numbers depending on the chase. Here's one though, right? So like with Bedard in the gold base set autos, his common auto is out of 49. His uncommon auto is out of 49.
Cool.
But then his rare is out of 3.
Here's a picture of Luke Hughes' rare. How about that? There, everyone.
Yeah, so these are out of 3. Like, so there'll be like a Bedard out of 3. And mind you, how many like hours into this are we? We're still on the base set.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move away from that. There's another auto set called Autofocus and Autofocus Rookies. Pretty tough pack odds, like 1 in 1,200. There's 12 vets. Ovi, Makar, the biggest names. There's 4 rookies. Bedard, who's a short print, so it's going to be worse than 1 in 1,200 pack odds. Yeah. Marco Kasper, Simon Edvinsson, and Yaroslav Askarov. At this point, it's shocking how heavy Upper Deck has gone on Yaroslav Askarov into the 2023-24 sets.
Yep, he was. Looks like they put their money on him.
Another rookie auto set is rookie renditions. 37 of the 50 rookies are on the checklist. They're out of 99, out of 49 or 25. Now, here's kind of an important point on this. So Bedard is on the checklist there. He is out of 25, as you'd imagine, but he's in Team Canada. So we got more Team Canada stuff going on. At this point, I kind of feel like I understood it when Artifacts was coming out. I would be not so excited to get a Team Canada card. We're in the off season, he's in his off season.
Yeah.
At this point. There's also an auto patch version of this card out of 2510 or purple 101s. So there's a generation set that comes in auto, jersey, and patch auto variations. These are kind of cool. Again, sticker without sticker, this would be a lot better, I think. It's a set of which is a mix of rookies and vets. The auto set includes 43 players out of 49, 25, or 10. There's gold parallels out of 10 again. So here's another example. Yeah. We've run into this before. You can get a base out of 10 that will also have a gold parallel out of 10. And I just think too, like when it comes to like secondary market, like listings, that I don't like this because it creates a lot of potential confusion. Sometimes the differences between like the base and the gold can be subtle enough where, and especially if you're not putting the name on the back of the card, like they did with like Allure or Parker's Champions or something like that, you can end up having listings that are wrong. There are legends in this set too. So like this is like where you could get like a Wayne Gretzky auto out of 10 or something like that. There's also a Generations jersey card, which are out of 99, followed by patch cards. A number of those will be autoed. 33 total players, again, a mix of vets and rookies, all out of 10 with a purple patch, parallel 101. Now next one, Troy, is a signature pucks insert. These are both veterans and rookie checklist. The vet base are 1 in 60 packs. There's a team logo parallel out of 24, and then an NHL Shield logo out of 3. Rookies are 1 in 120 packs. So this is one of them that definitely looks hard signed to me. 15 players on the checklist. Bedard is on the checklist, but again is in Team Canada. There is a team logo parallel out of 24 and the NHL Shield logo parallel out of 3. Next, you have rookie renditions. That's kind of a cool
boy.
Card. Again, yeah. Askarov, right?
Askarov, our boy.
There's 40 total cards in the base set, 1 in 5 pack odds. There's a number of parallels. Red out of $7.99. The one we're looking at is blue out of $4.99. Green 99. Pink out of 25. Bedsy is in Team Canada here too. A lot of Team Canada Bedsy in Trilogy. Yeah. There's an auto version of the set with 37 rookies on the checklist. Most are out of 99. Bedsy is in Team Canada again out of 25. And then patch autos 25 out or 10 with the 101 purple parallel. Then lastly, there's like 3 inserts we're going to highlight. A Team Twigs stick memorabilia product. There's 16 cards on the checklist. Now, this is a little bit unique. It features 3 players who all played for the same team that were not exactly teammates. So if you're watching online, we're showing kind of a cool example out of 10 that has a stick for McDavid, Messier, and Gretzky. Of course, they were not teammates.
Well, Gretzky and Messier were.
Yes, but everyone played for the Oilers. So like the Oilers is the theme there. Oh, it says, 1979 through 1923, even on the card. Now, there is 2023. There is a set that does feature 3 teammates on one card, which is Trivium, I think is what it's called. So the example we're looking at here is this horizontal card that shows like Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, and Mikko Rantanen. 25 cards on the checklist, a mix of vets and legends. Base odds are 1 in 40 packs. Parallels include gold tint. I haven't heard gold tint before.
I don't think so. I have either.
And then Black Ice 101. And then lastly, Troy. Oh boy. I would love to say I've saved the best for last.
Best card ever.
It's more like I've saved the most mind-boggling and infuriating card, for me at least, for last. It's not Epernex's fault, so I'm not blaming them. But they did, because they didn't invent it. But they did make the card, so maybe they get a little of my ire here. But it's, of course, the triple gold insert. 12 players on the checklist, 12 different cards, are vets and legends who have all achieved triple gold status. Each card very prominently features, it's horizontal, an image of the player, and then a depiction of their gold medal from the World Championships, their gold medal from the Olympics, and their silver Stanley Cup. Because, Troy, 2 gold medals and a silver Stanley Cup obviously add up to triple or 3 gold. You know, just like 2 dogs and a cat equal the triple dog club, or a filet mignon, a T-bone, and a piece of sea bass equal the triple steak club. What did somebody say in one of our chats that would have been a... they actually found a better name for this that I thought was actually pretty good. It's escaping me right now. Do you think Upper Deck did this just to ruin my life?
I doubt it.
That's being a little self-grandiose there. I know.
Yeah, I think this was probably in the hopper before we were even before anyone even knew who this disaster of a show was.
These cards, Troy, are all at a $199. I think you should buy them all and burn them. Would you do that for me, please?
I'm not going to collect this whole set.
It's only 2,400 cards total, right? Because there's 12 cards. So you got that kind of cash. You could do that. Okay, Troy. Lastly, like we're doing with every 2023-24 product, when we look at the set configuration and the checklist, we pulled together a little bit of breakdown, a Bedsy breakdown. Not going to go through all of them because there's 49 unique Bedsy cards in 2023-24 Trilogy.
Yep.
Right, so it starts with the now. Remember how I said like there's a million? I couldn't even put it in one column. Those are all. That's one player. All the variations of his base. It's like 17. Then like tons of parallels for generations. And then if you go on to the picture 2, you know it's more some of the inserts. And then again,
Team Canada.
That's just what Upper Deck is doing. And I'm not even saying it's like wrong or that they're. You know, they need to meet demand, but there are just like a billion parallels for every card.
Yep.
And this is happening in basketball and on football and all that too, we know. All right, looking at the configuration, there's 4 cards per pack in a hobby box, 6 packs per box. So you get 24 cards in a box. There's 20 boxes per case, and the set size is 250 cards. Now, what would you expect per hobby box? You get 2 autograph or memorabilia cards total, 3 rookie renditions or trilogy generations, and 5 parallels. Pre-sales right now for 2023-24 trilogy here in the US look like they're around $160, Troy. In Canada, I'm going to show that. That's 160 on Dave and Adams. In Canada, I went to 2 sites, Klutz and Chara and 401 Games, and they're sold out. But I did see with 401 Games that it was selling for like 190 Canadian before it sold out. So seems like a little bit better deal than in the US. So I don't know. There's a lot of info. Kind of like drinking from a fire hose. What's your verdict, Troy? Trilogy, do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you going to be buying any personal boxes? What do you have to say for yourself?
It's kind of bonkers, but I think I'm leaning towards maybe buying a box. Maybe buying a box. At least you don't get 4 cards. You get 20. And I like it that everything's basically some kind of hit, right? Everything that you pull should be a hit. No, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So every base card is numbered.
Yeah. So I actually have said that before, that I kind of dig when base cards are numbered. Like, that's kind of interesting.
I like my base numbered. Should that be a t-shirt? Do we need to copyright that?
Should be a shirt. Yeah, I think I might buy a box. We'll see.
To me, the biggest plus is the 50 rookies on the checklist, even though it's kind of 150. But 50, so you're not, I really do not like these sets that have 100 rookies where literally half the guys you've never heard of.
Yeah.
To me, the drawbacks are, again, the sticker auto thing.
Yep.
And then the trillion parallels. I don't know how I feel about that. I get your point. But part of me doesn't like that too. But then again, though, Troy, we've been complaining about this whole Bedard chase, about the crazy, how stupid expensive products are. 160 is not bad.
Yeah. Well, especially me going, I want autos. I want autos in my product. Well, this is how they do that, I guess. Sometimes they have to probably do sticker autos and a billion different parallels to get unique auto cards in there.
Yeah. All right. May 15th, 2023-24 trilogy. We're going to move on to our PWCC preview. PWCC is a Gongshow partner sponsor. Of course, we're thankful to them for their support. Reminder, Troy, that May 2024 Premier Auctions Live runs through next Thursday, May 16th. There's 3 hockey cards in this month's premiere. Yep. All Connie McDavies, a Cup RPA out of 99 BGS 910, a exquisite RPA from the Cup out of 97 BGS 910, and then a 2015-16 OPG Platinum Seismic Gold Rookie Auto out of 25 PSA 9 Auto 10. Kind of the big spender right now is on the True Cup RPA, right? That has the highest bid.
Yes, $25,000 US.
But the Premier Tour is not the only auction live at PWCC. It's Thursday. That means we're going to do our PWCC weekly preview, highlight our favorite vintage and modern cards. I think I learned more about the hobby doing this segment. I don't know how you feel than anything else we do, because it really forces us to like go deep.
Oh, just wait. Card and I go off the rails on mine. So
great. Well, here's our favorite vintage and modern cards in this week's PWCC weekly auction. We'll start with vintage. This one caught my eye right away because the grade. It's a 1972 Topps Bobby Orr All-Star SGC 10 Gem Mint. Not very often, Troy. You see a hockey card from the 60s or 70s with a Gem Mint grade.
No.
So had to learn more and preview the card. Favorite part of the card is, I don't know if you noticed this, whoever the Kings goalie is, he's just like lounging on the ice in the background wearing a total Halloween mask.
Yeah.
It's like if Herman Munster and Jason from the Friday the 13th movies, like you combine them together, that's what this goalie looks like. I also love the flow that Bobby Orr had at that point of his career. Yeah. That's quite the mop.
Got the bushy hair.
So the All-Star card is to actually commemorate or being named to the NHL first team All-Star. Not that he played in the All-Star game. I hate the way the NHL does this. I've said this before, but actually thinking about it and focusing on it for this card, I hadn't connected before, like how much better of a job the NBA does. So the NBA has all-stars that play in the All-Star game, but then they have first team all NBA.
Yeah.
Why doesn't hockey do that?
First team all NHL.
Yes. Then you can actually understand the difference between the two. Because until I saw like that it says first team on there, I always assume that they played in the All-Star game.
They're All-Star game, yeah.
So it's one of two cards in the 1972 Topps hockey set. There's a base card, of course, as well. I know people dog on the set, but I actually like his base card from 1972-73. What do you think?
I like it too. It's in our opening.
That's right.
It's in our opening. We like it.
I knew I liked it. Yeah, there we go. Remember, it's the top set. It's not OBG, so there's gonna be less probably overall collector desirability, but that just means cheaper prices too. All right. The big news on this one is the rarity of the grade, and so I wanted to really understand that. At an SGC 10, Troy, it's a pop 1, which isn't shocking. 57 total were graded by SGC. PSA 10 pop count, though, was a little higher than I thought. 16 for PSA 10. Out of 526 total graded, there's 0 BVG 9.5s or 10s for this card, because remember, anything prior to what is it 1981 or something like that is BVG versus BGS.
Is that still a thing? Do they still do the BVG? Because that seems like another thing you need to get rid of if that's still the case.
So that would make this card, presumably, Troy, one of the 10 best graded copies. And you might get an SGC discount versus PSA 2. So this 1972-73 Topps Bobby Orr All-Star SGC 10 is actually sold twice. This pop 1. Both times were via PWCC. It first sold in 2021 for 128 US. Then in April 2022 for 400 US. Now, again, looking at that SGC discount, if you compare that, the all-time high for a PSA 10 copy is 900 US in September 2023. You got a current bid?
$48 US.
Okay, I feel like I just talked for 47 straight hours. So
I got you. I got you, fam.
All right, man. Troy's got the content. You got the next card.
Oh, that's Bobby Orr. We don't have Bobby Orr. Oh, here we go. 1978 OPC hockey. Brian, I hate that the North Stars had a player called Ryan Suter. This is Sutter. Brian Sutter. So rookie, number 319, PSA 8. If you look in or if you're watching on YouTube, I absolutely love the look of this card. I'll get into that in a bit. But this is my jam, Josh. Early to mid 80s players that I remember as a kid. And I definitely remember Brian Sutter.
Sutters are the ones with all the brothers, right?
Oh, we're getting into that. We get into that. Good. We go deep. So, yes, North Stars and the Blues, where Brian Sutter played for, in the same division, so they got to play them pretty often. And we had my dad subscribed to, I don't even know what you want to call it. It was like pay-per-view television, but for the North Stars. So we used to get all the games. And yeah, I remember seeing I remember Brian Sutter. I remember it was, and then his brothers, which we'll get into. But Josh,
so would all your bros come to your house to watch the games?
Oh, we used to have parties. Now, this is little kids that our attention spans were about 2 seconds, and then we'd run off and do whatever. But Josh, why I'm ranting about old school stuff? I seriously want the Campbell Conference back, the Norris Division, the Smythe Division, the Prince of Wales Conference, the Adams Division, Patrick Division. When I was looking at this card, that just brought all those memories back, and I'm like, dang it, I want them back. So I'm just going to put that out there, but okay. Rant over. Actually, Josh, now I got another rant. I just thought of this one. We need the home teams back to wearing white jerseys. I want that back too. I feel like I'm becoming an old man yelling at the clouds, but holy cow. I need my white jerseys back for the home teams.
Need some peanuts, Troy? Or are you going to go?
Oh, I know. Am I getting hangry? Maybe it's the hangry kicking in. Okay, we're going to do my favorite format, though, with this card. Look at the set and the card and then the players. So 1978 OPG, I dug into our Bible, Bobby Burrell's Vintage Hockey Collector. And OPG chose to focus on solely one league starting in 1978-79. So they didn't go look at, was it WHA or WHL? WHA, right? I can't remember what it's called.
WHA.
Yeah. So the 396 card set featured all 17 NHL teams. These cards are a challenge to find without poor centering and rough cuts. A number of packs also contain 6 different special offer cards for items such as toques, sport card lockers, a puck, and a scarce NHL All-Star poster. Key card in the 78-79 OPG set is the Mike Bossy rookie. Other notable rookies in the set include Bernie Federico, Randy Carlyle, Ron Duguay, Brian Sutter, Dave Taylor, and Doug Wilson. Now the card itself, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it's on the screen. It's a Brian Sutter rookie card. It's a PSA 8. I really like the picture on this card. I know I said that a couple times. I just think it's a pretty cool action shot. Plus, it has Josh's favorite open mouth on a hockey player. I think
hockey mouth.
So Josh loves that. Centering is a tad off left to right and top to bottom. However, corners and edges are crazy nice. So crazy that I had to text Josh again and go, right, PSA doesn't grade sheet cut cards. And you said, yes, that's correct. So I'm going to guess it was pack pulled, but holy smokes, especially with Bobby's book that said, it's hard to find these without rough edges. These things look immaculate. A little bit bottom left corner might be just a little weird, but this card looks really, really nice.
Sharp blades.
Yeah, definitely sharp. Probably the first whatever cut was on this card.
That's a very nice looking PSA 8.
Yeah. And it's just really, really nice copy looking at it. Now, if you want to zoom in, so a couple things on the top where they have the blues where it's roundy, you can see the registration got off a little. So the plate was probably a little off. So that's probably one of the issues. On his left shoulder, it has the pink dot. Now, I know Gretzky had the dot too, but there are copies of this Brian Sutter without that. Sutter. I'm going to keep going back and forth. Sutter without the dot. So that's probably another thing that kind of hurt the grade. But overall, this card looks really, really nice. Now, Josh, got to learn about our boy Brian Sutter. Left wing, played 12 seasons in the NHL, all with the St. Louis Blues. First career had 303 goals, 333 assists, 636 points, and 779 games played. As Josh alluded to, Sutter was the oldest of the famous Sutter brothers who played in the NHL. If you don't know about the Sutter brothers, they were 6 brothers, Brent, Brian, Daryl, Dwayne, Rich, and Ron, who all reached the NHL in the late 70s and early 80s.
That's wild.
It's absolutely wild. And I had to do a little fun facts section or some more interesting facts about the Sutter brothers. So 4 brothers, Brian, Dwayne, Daryl, and Brent. Man, what's the Newhart thing? It's my brother Daryl. This is my other brother Daryl. So 4 of the brothers, Brian, Dwayne, Daryl, and Brent, have gone on to become coaches and general managers as well, with Brian, Daryl, and Brent each having a stint as a head coach of the Calgary Flames. All brothers played for either the Chicago Blackhawks or the St. Louis Blues at one point or another in their career. A 7th brother named Gary is said by his brothers to have been the best hockey player of all of them, but rather than make his living as a hockey player, he decided to be a farmer. Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
And the Sutter brothers' combined regular season NHL stats are 1,320 goals, 1,614 assists, 2,934 points, 7,224 penalty minutes, in 4,994 regular season games played.
Jeez.
And finally, our last stat on Brian Sutter. His number 11 is retired by the St. Louis Blues. Okay. Josh, this card, PSA 8, pop of this card is 69 with 23 graded higher. A PSA 8 copy of this card last sold in the PWCC auction on April 21st, 2024 for $10 US. I think it was actually a different one too. It wasn't the same one. But Josh, and then this exact card sold on the PWCC auction on February 12th, 2023 for $55 US.
Okay.
Oh, so hold on. I let me do this again. So on April 21st of this year, there was a $10 sale. And then on eBay on April 9th of this year, there was a $90 sale for this card. So,
but that's going to come like with every vintage card.
Yes, it goes.
It's going to be horrible PSA 8s, and like this one's a top. So you would expect, I would expect this card to sell whatever range that PSA 8 sell for, that this one would hopefully be near the top.
Yep. And this exact card did sell on PWCC on February 12th of 2023 for $55 US. So it's pretty crazy. A lot of stuff going on. And then again, this exact copy, Josh, sold on PWCC on April 7th of 2024, but I don't think it was paid for because it was not in the sales history. So there's a lot of crazy stuff. Just know this. Floor was 10.
This card's like in foster care at PWCC, and it needs a home, Troy. It needs a mom and a dad.
Yes. Floor was like 10. Top was, what I say, 90 US. So hopefully it probably goes somewhere in there. Current bid on this card is $32 US.
I have breaking news. You want to hit the button bar? Breaking news sounder.
Okay, I hit the bar.
Remember when we did a Jeremy Swayman hobby deep dive?
Oh, geez, he get pulled.
Consistency. Yep, the Bruins ended up losing 6-1.
Yikes.
For the Panthers. Jeremy Swayman let in 4 goals on 23 shots. 8.26 save percentage. Lance Allmark, not much better, though, let in 2 goals on 10 shots.
Yeah, what do you do next game? Do you go to Allmark or give Swayman the chance to come back?
Oops. All right, the last vintage card we're going to feature is kind of a vintage card, kind of not, kind of a card, kind of a not. This one had me all tied up in knots, but it was really fun to kind of figure out and dive into, so I'm excited to talk about it. It's a 1993 Parkhurst reprint of a 1951 Gordie Howe Parkey, but has an IP auto and then is a PSA DNA authentic slab. This card, like you said, had me all tied up in knots because there's so much going on with it. It's crazy. I stared at it a long time before selecting it for a preview, just trying to like figure out what I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the crux of the issue for me, Troy, is I don't know if I've resolved how I feel about reprints. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, well, maybe by doing research on the card, it would force me to think about it, and I could come up to with some sort of conclusion. Whether you're a reprint guy or not, though, I think most would agree this card looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
The idea of having an autoed Gordie Howe rookie-ish card, I what do you call it? Like rookie reprint, I guess.
Rookie reprint, yeah,
it's pretty cool. And again, the auto's an IP auto, so it's in person. I'm like 99% sure of that. Because there are a lot of these, a ton. This isn't like the only one you'll find. So at some point, I think people were handing Gordie stacks of these and then putting them in the PSA DNA slabs.
Oh well, yeah. Well, Gordie wasn't afraid to sign. We know that.
Nope. And so I looked at TCDB, and I was looking, and I found the 1993 Parkhurst reprint, and there wasn't any mention of like out auto cards. There's 36 player cards and 4 checklists in the 1993-94 Parkhurst reprint sets. Of the 36 players, 4 of the cards are Gordie Howe Parkey reprints. So there's the 1951 we're looking at on YouTube. Then there's a 1952-53 reprint, a 1953-54, and then a 1961-62.
Would the hobby collapse in on itself if Upper Deck did that right now and released a set with like 5 different reprint cards?
Maybe. The other notable players in the reprint set would be like Tim Horton, Terry Sawchuk, Jacques Plante, Rocket Richard, and probably Ted Lindsay. Now, okay, I want to get into like the rub of this card and the reprint factor. First thing I want to mention is I give great kudos to PWCC. Like on the title for this card in the auction, it has in all caps reprint on it.
Yeah.
So there should be no, and then the slab says reprint too. Because when you're looking at the front of the card, it looks identical.
Yeah, it just looks like
maybe like a 51 Parkey. I hesitate to say identical because maybe like an expert would give you 45 reasons why it doesn't look like, but to the novice, it looks like a 51 Parkhurst. Where you can tell that these are reprints is really on the back. And I have a picture. So the paper is different. On the original 1951 Parkhurst, the back is the same color as the front, and they're totally blank.
Yep.
These ones have the card number. So in this case, it's PR, which must stand for like Parkhurst reprint number 33. It's got Gordie's name, Gordie Howe in the back. And then there's NHL, NHLPA, and Parkhurst licensing information. I do have a complaint, though. I really, really wish, like in the cases of reprints like this, that Parkhurst who would have put 1993-94 on it. Because
what does this
then
mean?
I don't know. Yeah, it says offer is no longer valid. Printed.
Are they trying to think like when the Parkies? Couldn't you like send them in or something? Weird.
Maybe.
So you want 93-94 under the Parkers?
I want 93-94 on the back so that there's zero.
True.
Kind of like ability to have a misinterpretation as to when this card was actually produced. Because again, you know, for some very novice person in the hobby or some like scammer that and if it has the date on it, then you can't argue that. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, any information that lets me find out what the card is, I want. Like I've talked about a million times, I think every card should have the name of it on the back, like what if it's a parallel or insert or whatever.
The big draw to me on the card though is the impersonato. It's blue ink. It's in a really good placement. It's vertical though. It like starts at the bottom and goes kind of mostly straight up.
Yeah.
But it's the right placement on the card because he didn't try to sign over the image of Gordy. And so I think the card is cool from that perspective. And I actually did formulate an opinion of reprints over this. And I would say this is the type of reprint I don't prefer. The type of reprints I can get more behind are like when they do like a OPC Chrome version. Like the what is it?
The Gretzky. Is actually about.
Yeah, like the Gretzky, but what is it called? Like
Flashback.
I don't know. Yeah, those type of ones where there's it's the same design, but it's got like some sort of modern twist to it, not trying to be like an exact representation of that blast from the past.
Yeah,
okay. Well, the last sale of a 1993-94 Parker's Gordie Howe 51 reprint auto PSA DNA auto off was $255 on April 15th. All-time high, Troy, was $392, paid in February 2022. Like I said, there's a good amount of these out there. But you got a current bid?
$41.
Okay, we're going to switch over to modern. The first one I chose is a 2015-16 The Cup Connor McDavid honorable numbers, which is out of 97. BGS 9.5, so gem mint with a 10 auto grade. This card feels like a borderline weekly versus premier auction card to me. And I say that too, from my opinion, the quality of the patches on this card, which we'll get into in a minute. So the patches appear in die cuts within the card that are cut to the shape of the respective player's numbers. So in the case of Connor McDavid, there's a 9 patch slot and a 7 one for 97. The cards then are limited to a print run of that player's number. So again, McDavid is 97, so 97 copies were produced and packed out. What a lot of times you see on checklists, which can be a little bit confusing about this card, is it'll say serial numbered to 97, which I think is probably technically still right. But when I think hear serial to 97, we expect to see somewhere on the card like 14 out of 97.
Gotcha.
That is not the case with the honorable numbers. It's the print run is indicative by the die cuts of where the patch windows are.
Okay.
That makes sense. The patch in the 9 window. Well, first I'll say is both patches are 2-color, but to me, the key and what makes this card real cool is how the patches work together. So in the 9 window, it's mostly orange with like a sliver of blue on the right. But then on the 7 window to the right of it, there's a blue like vertical stripe, and then in the middle, a white vertical stripe and a blue vertical stripe on the right. And so it kind of gives like when you look at the patches together, I think the sum is greater than the parts. Would you agree with that? And
I
think that looks really cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. It almost looks like an extension. But it's actually 2 separate windows. Is that what we think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
The auto is super clean too. Oh, actually, I'm going to go back. Like with most rookie RPAs, they're not game used. It's photo shoot. So just something to know. But then the auto is super clean. And McDavid has a really nice signature. I love in the design of this card. Like you complain a lot about McDavid RPAs where they have like rookie card printed underneath the signature, which I agree with you, Troy, is like a horrible mistake. And so I love on this card, it's just a blank background underneath the auto. And so you have a really nice picture of McDavid above his knees. And you have a really cool patches, and then underneath it with a lot of white space, a really beautiful auto. And then the slab doesn't bother me in this card. I would think it's like, oh, would you crack this? But I don't know why it's not bothering me. So, and it's got that BGS 9.5 grade. And when you have these really thick cup cards, that feels like almost an impossible grade. Like you would expect this to be an 8, 10 or something like that, because there'd be edge wear or corner wear edge damage, something like that. There were only 9 rookies on the checklist for 2015-16 honorable numbers. Dylan Larkin would be the only other like sort of chase. I mean, a lot more of a minor chase, of course, than McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
And then, when you look at like comparing all the different RPAs from 2015-16 the Cup, I would say honorable numbers, I really like the look of it. They're maybe on the lower side of the value equation. So the highest value one's going to be the true RPA at a 99, which we've seen in the Premier auction. Then you have the exquisite RPA at a 97, which is in the Premier as well. And then after that, you have like limited logos and lower numbered like emblems of endorsement will typically sell for more than like an honorable numbers would. But then again, though, what we see and what you learn about with these RPAs for huge players like McDavid or Ovechkin or Crosby, so much of the value, Troy, comes down to the quality of the patch.
Yeah.
There could be a huge difference in value if there's like 2 one-color boring patches versus the patch configuration of this card. So that's something that you have to really kind of try to evaluate if you're going to want to make a bid. All-time high for 2015-16 the Cup, McDavid honorable numbers RPN at 97 was BGS 9.510. Copy another one. A different card, though. It sold for $16,200 US in October 2022. And by the way, that card had nowhere near as nice of a patch as this one does. Most recent sale was a BGS 9.510, another one for $13,700 US from the end of March. And then, Troy, the only sale I could find of this exact card was in August of 2022 in the PWCC Weekly when it sold for $8,100 US. You got a current bid?
$6,750 US.
That's a pretty strong number for where we're at this point in the auction. So, all right, you got the next. Was it like 30 cards or?
Yeah, I got the next whole bunch of cards. This is the first, Josh. This we've never done a lot.
I think you've done this once before.
Did I do a lot before? Maybe.
Yeah.
Shoot, I thought it was being so unique, but. Anyways, it just caught my eye that I wasn't like a lot of the modern stuff wasn't catching my eye. And then I saw all these and it was like, oh, this is kind of recent because we talked about it. But so there are 6. When I did my research, there were 6 Upper Deck employee exclusive PMGs in this week's PWCC auction. Guess what, Josh? I looked right before we started our show and they must have flash inserted one because now there's 7. But I am only doing the 6 that I saw originally. So the 6 that are in there, I'm going to go through them all. And we have pictures for all of them. First one, oh boy, 2023 Upper Deck employee exclusive Precious Metal Gems, Jeremy Swayman, PSA 8. Population 1-8, just 2 graded higher. Next one we have our boy Quentin Byfield, same thing, employee exclusive Precious Metal Gem, PSA 8, population 1-9 with just 3 graded higher. And then I'm not going to read all the other stuff on them. But there's a Cole Caulfield that is, let's see. Oh, that didn't have anything. It's the same year, PSA 8. And then here's a Lucas Raymond, which is a PSA 9. PSA or population of 1-3 with none graded higher. And then our 5th one is this one, Josh. We got a Mo Sider, PSA 8. PSA pop 1-12 with just 1 graded higher. And then our final one that I did research on, or that I was looking at, we have Trevor Zegras, PSA 8, pop 1-11 with 8 graded higher. And then just for inclusion, here's the other one they snuck in on me. It's a 2019 Nick Suzuki, but I did not look at that one.
Hey, I got a question about that one.
Yeah. Oh, the Suzuki.
Because one thing I noticed about these is, so I really like the employee exclusive PMGs. I think the purple is really pops and the cards just look beautiful, Troy. But they've typically been numbered like out of either like 150 or 175.
Yeah.
And in 2023, none of these were numbered.
Yep.
Which I find is straight. And like I combed the front and back. So I would wonder, you'd have to assume the 2019 Suzuki would actually be numbered though.
I did not look at the back to see if it was. It's not on the front. And it's crazy how they look the same. Just the years changed down here.
Well, it's the 97, 98 retro design.
Yeah. But yeah, I did not look at the back of the Suzuki, so maybe it is. Okay, so let's not put him up. We didn't look at him. Let's go. How about Swayman? Pretend he played great tonight. So in episode 174, we did like a little mini deep dive, Josh. You did on employee exclusives. And we talked about him because Connor Bedard, rookie with the gold ink on-card auto, was on eBay and kind of got people up in arms. But I just wanted to give a little refresher on these employee exclusive cards in case you're new to our show or you don't know anything about them. If you are an Upper Deck employee, you can't sell Upper Deck cards on the secondary markets. They do this for ethical reasons. Like Josh gave an example. You just can't walk into your LCS if you're an Upper Deck employee, pay full retail, open a box, and then resell it. It's against their rules.
Nope. Nor
can you buy a box on the secondary market and resell them. So they kind of got you in both ways. And like you stated, it's like if you're an employee at Upper Deck, you're not able to participate in the hobby like everyone else. There's kind of restrictions on you. And when these employee exclusive cards are given out, the thought process is that we kind of said, or everyone kind of say, it's like a bonus, right? This is a way to give a bonus. And you give them these cards.
And they don't just get like Connor Bedard bangers. Like they get like obscure tennis player cards too. And I think they get like a stack.
Yep.
What I understand.
So you get your employee exclusive cards, and you are allowed to sell these on the secondary market if you so please. So this is like the one exception where you can sell away. So there's a little background on those. And again, I thought you did it way better than I did when the Bedard came out. It was really a polarizing ass, right? Both sides
people were like
up in arms.
And the crazy thing about that too is that while everyone was so up in arms about the Bedard, it was basically the card was a tribute to the David employee exclusive RPA that nobody really cared about.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'm just gonna put another one on. We're filled up for now. So all of the cards that I mentioned are PSA 8s, except for the Raymond is a PSA 9. I have stated in the past, I am not a PMG guy, but like you just said, the purple looks pretty sweet. I think it really makes them pop, and it looks really nice.
And 8 is I consider a good grade for a PMG card.
Yeah.
Like an 8 PMG is the Young Guns PSA 10 equivalent in my mind.
Yeah, because these always come out a little janky on the sides. And
the foiling is so delicate that the corners and edges chip a lot.
Yeah, so I tried to give let's see what these might go for. We'll start with the Swayman. So there are a couple recent sales of a PSA 8 copy and Terra Peak. Not the same. None of these are the same numbers as up on PWCC for the serial number, but one sold for $80 on March 29th of this year, and another sold for $60 on March 18th of this year. And then the Byfield, a PSA 8 copy, sold on January 3rd of this year for $37. For the Caulfield, PSA 8 copy sold on March 18th of this year for $70. And then for Raymond, PSA 8 copy sold on February 13th of this year for $75. Cider sold on just recently, May 6th of this year for $89. And the Zegras sold on January 28th of this year for $50.
What a year difference for Zegras, huh? That would have been a year and a half ago. That would have been the highest value one.
Exactly. So like I said, I find these cards very interesting, polarizing opinions, but again, they look really, really nice and they really, really pop. So that's what we're going to do. Current bids on them all are pretty low. The Swayman's at $56 and the Byfield's at $6. Caulfield's $6. Raymond's at $6. The Mo has no bids yet. And
almost like starter bids.
Yeah, the Zegras has no bids yet on it.
I'm really kind of intrigued. I wonder if Upper Deck didn't number them to save money. Like if I had to guess, that would be it.
Yeah.
But I would want to try to do, before I bid on these, some sort of try to figure out like at least a semblance of like what the print run is. Now we know Upper Deck doesn't have 10,000 employees.
Yeah.
So there's probably a couple hundred at the most. But we're so used to every PMG being numbered. It's kind of weird in that respect.
Yeah. But very cool.
Very, very cool. All right, Troy, last card we're going to look at is a 2016-17 SP Authentic Wayne Gretzky Sign of the Times Auto BGS 9.510. I made this comment before, but I get like analysis paralysis over just the sheer volume of Wayne Gretzky autograph cards. You were looking into, right? Was that autos that you're doing, or just?
I was looking at I was trying to figure out how many times Wayne Gretzky had signed his name on a card. And I think halfway through TCDB, and what was I at? Like 5,000, maybe. I think I was at. So it was going to take way too long. I was like, screw it, double it, and we'll call it 10 to 15,000 times. He's probably signed a card.
And I don't have a Gretzky auto, and I think this is part of the reason why is I really want to get the one that at least I feel is like special or significant, and not like a run of the mill, because there's so many of them. There's just a ton of them. And so when I saw this card, the first thing I thought was, okay, this is one I think I would want. You know, I'm going to kind of break down my reasoning. First of all, it's SP Authentic, well-respected product. Then it's Sign of the Times, which is a set I appreciate. I think has good hobby recognition. It's a legacy set that's been around forever. I think it goes back to like 1997, 98. And then most importantly, Troy, to me, the card design is amazing. And the auto is absolutely gorgeous on the card. It's a horizontal card, but you also get the full body shot of Wayne in all his Oilers jersey and Jofa helmet glory. So that's part of it's awesome. The card just has a super clean design too, which I prefer. Then again, there's a huge open and clear space for the auto, and it makes the auto the wonderful focal point of the card that it's really intended to be. And then having the BGS 9.510 grading doesn't hurt. And once again, too, I'm not really bothered by the holder in this one, too. Maybe more like I would have assumed to be.
Does it bother you does that bother you? I wonder if it's because it's so big, you're just focused on the card.
Yeah, it still doesn't bother me.
Yeah, all right.
The one thing about Sign of the Times that's important to know is that they're not numbered.
Yeah.
Again, you have to do some sort of scarcity analysis like you would do with those purple employee exclusive PMGs we just talked about. So I went through the checklist, and in 2015-16 SP Authentic, or 2016-17, where the set this is from, the pack odds for a Gretzky Sign of the Times were 1 in 9,256 packs. So pretty tough chase. Right?
Yeah.
Can't be a ton of them. I just love this card. Considered an A+ Gretzky auto card.
Yes. Blue Blades.
Like,
or blue
oh yeah.
What is those called? Why am I blanking?
Tux, right?
Tux, yeah. Jeez.
So this exact copy, Troy, was the most recent sale of any 2016 SP Authentic Wayne Gretzky Sign of the Times card. It sold in the PWCC Weekly for last October for $960. So I went through all this kind of thought analysis, and I didn't do this because I'm kind of afraid to know the answer. But I'm like, knowing me a little bit, I mean, I've lived with myself for almost 50 years now. What are the odds that I previewed this card back in October, do you think?
Probably pretty high. Did we? Did you look?
I don't know. I haven't looked. And I think it would be hilarious to like see what I said about it, right? And that's like the benefit of our outline.
That was the worst card ever.
The problem is we have so many outline docs because we write a ridiculous amount of words for the show that it would have been in our last one, right? So the date it sold was October. What did I say?
I was trying to find it.
I think it was October 23 or something like that.
I don't see it in this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be in there. I did Gretzky Sign of the Times, and it pops up on a bunch of our outlines. So that could just mean that we say Wayne Gretzky and we say Sign of the Times.
What if it's the 37th time we've... And honestly, this card is so nice, I wouldn't mind. Like this is card my over. Does this card kind of hit you in the hobby feels too? Is this a Gretzky auto you would love to have?
Oh yeah, for sure. If it stayed around its current bid, I'd sure be bidding on it, but it won't.
Oh, what is the current bid?
400 US.
Oh yeah. Yeah, all-time highs 1,275 US. All right, personal pickups. Troy, you are a hobby monster. You just keep going. You can't stop. You won't stop adding to your collection. So
I'm a ComC guy now, I guess. I'm a ComC machine. I got bored one night and decided I'm going to figure this thing out.
Got yourself something new.
Yeah, I've just uploaded all these e-pack garbage that I didn't want, or I would never ship to myself. So I started selling, and then I made some purchases on ComC.
You sold how many cards for how many dollars?
I sold 33 cards for $2.84 total is my profit. Each? Or is my not my profit, my revenue basically. What I got back.
Each? $2 each?
No. That's total. Like these cards are like 4 cents, 5 cents, 8 cents. There's like a billion copies on ComC, and I just priced them at the lowest one. So someone would see and go, oh, I'm gonna buy that. Just buy it.
There you go.
Like I don't even care. Okay, so I got 3 purchases. Keeping with my trend of Wild or North Stars, I got a 2019 Upper Deck Chronology Bobby Smith franchise history autographs. Love Bobby Smith. And I like this auto too because it took up the whole space. I saw a lot of them where he stopped early. And that bothered me for some reason. So
I feel like he signed that like while he was fighting with his wife. It's a very aggressive auto signature.
Yeah. This one I love. 2010 Panini Pinnacle, Willie Plett, Tough Times autograph. Gosh, I can't remember if he's the only player, but Willie Plett, I think, is from South Africa, if I remember right. Like very few South Africa. Or is he South? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up now. Now I'm gonna question myself. I do this a lot. But yeah, I know he's
interesting way to spell Willie, right?
Sorry, he's from South America. He's from Paraguay. That's right.
Oh.
So yeah,
he's from South somewhere.
Yeah, I got the South part right. And finally, last one I got was a 2019 Upper Deck Chronology Steve Payne franchise history autographs. So I'm loving my North Stars. What did I get? I can't find it. Shoot.
When ComC calls you because you're such a good customer and you've sold them literally thousands of cards for $2, can you ask them to take their stupid watermark off the
Yes, 100%. I was just saying, I actually pulled that from the pack of OP cheese that a friend gave us.
These Chronology cards autos are very nice looking too. I like.
Yeah, very nice.
Now though, ComC is like taking a bit, right? So it could be like 2 months, or are you gonna get them sooner than that?
No, I'm leaving them for now. I don't have any need to ship them back.
Oh, okay.
Eventually, I'm gonna probably just keep because
a big order.
You don't have to pay storage fees on stuff you buy. So I'm just gonna keep them in there until I get a bunch of stuff, and then I'll just do one big lot back to myself.
Well, I have a pickup.
Oh,
but it don't have proof because I don't want to have proof. I have to explain myself a little bit. I'm for the first time I've decided I'm gonna build kind of a set. Like I've always collected just rando cards here and there. And I got like Jeremy Lee who's got like the whole set of whatever lined up, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know if I'm gonna get every one of these cards, but I had picked up at the expo a 2015-16 OPG Platinum Retro Mario Lemieux gold rainbow foil out of 149, and I'm like, man, there's some really other great legends on this checklist. So I think I'm going to do all the legends of that set. And I picked up another one. I bought it, another PSA 10. The problem was the eBay photo, Troy, was so horrible that I couldn't bring myself to showing this beautiful card in such an awful photo on our show. So I'm going to, and it's one that you're going to really like too, because it's one of your favorite guys. So I'll probably show it as soon as it comes and I can take a good picture. I'll show it. Tease. That's what they call tease in the business.
Was it 2015?
Yeah. Were you going to try to guess or what?
What they call it? Gold?
2015-16 OPG Platinum Retro, and it's a gold rainbow foil. So it'd be in the retro set. And there's vets and autos and legends and probably rookies too. But I got another one, and I've already got Mario Lemieux, and I picked up another.
All right, we'll save it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's our show for this Thursday. If you like the episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, you want to chat with us every day on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $1.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description, whether you're listening to us on a podcast app or watching us on YouTube. It's in our Instagram and TikTok profiles. You can find it on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, by clicking on the Become a Patron link.
Is that it?
But,
if you're watching on YouTube, you just saw what happened. Everyone else will let
surprise.
We'll let it be a joke. Or
they can't even see it anyways. If it's on and then I'll go to the Patreon website, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. We are on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And Troy, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures LLC. Have an awesome weekend. We will chat with you all on Monday.